Hi, I'm Vicki Hoth from Handi Quilter, and I'd like to show you the new features of the Pro Stitcher that are coming out this month. Let's get started and see what they are. Let's step to the machine and let's see what those new software features are. The first one we want to talk about is we're going to go to File and we're going to Open. And as we open, I'm going to close a couple of things here. I want you to see we have a lot of different designers that have added designs to our software. So some of those designers will start: Vicki Hoth, Sue Smeeden, Pam Clark, Nancy Hackey, Linda Taylor, Kimmy Bruner, Irina Bloom, Ella Munich. Lots of new designers. So we have over 1,000 designs now on our Pro Stitcher. The 1,000 designs includes theirs. It includes the designs that you have originally now, and it also includes the art and stitch designs. So if you want to bring your art and stitch designs in to use them, you'll need to register on the Pro Stitcher so that it will work here on your Pro Stitcher, or you'll bring those designs from a computer over on a jump drive and put it in your computer, and then you can use those designs. So with art and stitch, with our original HQ designs, with the new HQ designs, and I'll show you those in a minute, and with all the different designers, there's over 1,000 designs. So that's exciting to add more designs for your quilting. So let's go into the HQ designs, and it always says HQ designs, and then underneath that there are 4 categories: blocks, continuous line, corners, and triangles. So as I open up the blocks, you can see that our original designs are kind of this tan color, and the new designs are the green. And you'll see a purple one there. That purple one is a design that actually has been modified and saved. So it was maybe shifted size-wise or something. And so when it's saved, it always comes in as a purple design. But you can see as I scroll down here, all the green designs are new. Okay, keep going, keep going. Go to our continuous line. You can see all the new designs that are there. One of the things I'm excited about is the corner designs, okay? So we have a lot of corner designs. How many did we have before? 3 corner designs. Now we have quite a few more. And these corner designs all coordinate with a continuous line design. So the alternating loops 1, you'll find an alternating loops 1 continuous line that goes with this corner. So you've got a lot of different corner designs, which is really nice to have. And then we have some triangle designs, some added ones there. And then you can add your own and put them in here as well, on creating them from art and stitch, or taking some designs from other designers and bring them in here and save them on your Pro Stitcher. Let's talk about another feature that goes along with this file. So I'm going to go to continuous line and choose this dump truck and open it up. This is a new design. Marie made that from our studio. And I have this design and I want to repeat it. So I'm going to go ahead and go to repeat and add a couple of repeats to that. So now I have 3 repeats. And you can notice that it starts stitching on the right or on the left and stitches to the right, and the trucks are going that direction as well, from left to right. So maybe I want this trucks to go in a border all the way around my quilt, and as I get to the bottom, I want these trucks to go from running from right to left. So let's go ahead, and with my rotation, I'm going to go ahead and mirror that. So as I mirror that, as it runs, the trucks are going that direction, but how is the stitching going? The stitching is going from right to left too, and maybe that's not what I want to do. Maybe I want it to go from left to right, and that's what I normally would do, but you know, it's a choice. So we have a new function. It's called Swap Start End. And as I press that swap button, it takes my start and end and they swap. Did it flip my design? No, it left the design running, going the right direction, but my start and end swapped directions. So there'll be times that you'll want to use that, and we have that function for you now. Okay, now that I've swapped it and I'm ready, I want to save this because I may want to use it in borders or in sashing as I go down the quilt, so I need to save this. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my file and press the save button. And as I do that, it says right now, repeat dump truck. And so if I just say save, it will save 3 dump trucks with that name, repeat dump truck. And it won't save over the top of my original dump truck because it has added another word to it, repeat. If I want to change that and say, you know what, I don't want it to say repeat. I'm doing a quilt for Tom and I want it to say Tom dump truck so that every design that I'm using will have his name in it so that I can find it when I go back. I'm going to go ahead and touch on this bar here, and it brings up a keyboard. Now this looks different. You may not be familiar with this keyboard. So this is a little black keyboard, and this is where I'm going to type in my text. I'm going to go ahead and touch up here, and I want to get rid of repeat. So I put my cursor after repeat, and I'm going to go ahead and press backspace to get rid of the repeat. And now put my cursor back up there. I want this to say Tom. So if I want it to shift and be a capital T, okay, there's a T, O, M, and a space. And now Tom dump truck. Every design that I do, I might put Tom at the beginning, save it, and I know where I can go back to get that in the continuous line. Okay, now I'm going to press the save, and it saved it. Let's see if it did. Let's go ahead and close this one out. Let's go back and open, and we're going to have to scroll all the way down to the T's. And there it is, Tom dump truck continuous line. So I can go ahead and open that up, and there it is. The next feature I'd like to show you is what we call a simulator. And so as we go to Settings and Advanced, there is a button here. It says Simulation On and Off and Create a Simulation License. Now we have instructions on how to do this on our website, but what this does is this gives this tablet the opportunity I can take it off of here, I can take it in my lap, take it to a class, or if you're going to a class with somebody that's teaching Pro Stitcher, take it to that class and turn the simulation on, and by using your finger or a stylus, this is how you control your motors. So that moves the crosshairs around, and you can create your area. Before, if we took this off, it would say trying to find motors, and you couldn't find it. But now, because of the simulation, you can take this off and you can do it in your lap and create some, kind of learn some things as you're going or to go to a class. And what happens when I turn this on, you'll see a button up at the top here that says simulation. And when you're using it, you need to have that simulation button turned on, and then you can just use this as if you had your motors, but you'll just use your finger and with the crosshairs, and that will move that around the screen to create an area. Now it says changing simulation requires a restart to take effect. Well, I'm not going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off, but you will have to restart it so it disables the motors and the simulation takes over as the motors. So this is a great feature for on the road if you're doing this while your husband's driving, or if you're going to a class, or just sitting in your chair at home. And so you can just kind of figure out some things on using things, and even creating some designs that you can go back and put it on, connect everything up, and you're good to go again. The other thing that you can do is that you can actually take this Pro Stitcher program and you can put it on a laptop or a desktop computer. So you can do the same thing sitting at your desktop computer, creating using your mouse, which is a lot easier sometimes to do, and creating your areas and manipulating your designs that way. And to do that, you'll need to create a simulation license for your desktop. Now, there are instructions on our website that will tell you how to do this, and you'll need to follow those instructions so that you can get that to your desktop. And to do that, you'll take the latest update and you will load that onto your desktop computer, and then follow the instructions because you have to work between the two to create that simulation license. So follow the instructions and it will walk you through. You'll have it here and you'll have it on your desktop computer, being able to use it either way. The next feature we have is what we call a motor torque. So if we go to settings, and in settings you can see down here there's general, communications, speed profile, logging, motors. So I'm going to go ahead and touch motors, and it's a default set at 100. Now, what is motor torque? Okay, what it does is, how many times have you been using your Pro Stitcher and you didn't quite measure correctly, and as it's stitching down and it hits the bar? Or it maybe gets caught in some fabric over here, some batting, and starts ripping, and it doesn't stop. It wants to keep going. Well, what we've done is we've put a motor torque limit in. And what that does is, it's set at 100, and we wouldn't recommend you go below that. But what happens is when it comes down here and you hear that grinding, it hits that and it stops, it disables the motor, stops stitching. Okay, so then it doesn't create an issue with the needle down in the fabric and tearing the fabric, or when it comes over to the side. So it stops that, and then you've eliminated a big issue. Now, if it stops too soon, like if you're doing a design that is real small and you're doing it fast, which I wouldn't recommend, but if you're doing it fast and it's got these points and it keeps going into these points and it keeps disabling your motors, and then you have to re-establish your motors and you lose your positioning, then move that motor torque up to maybe 200 or 300 or something, because if it's doing that with that design. So the higher that number, the less ability it will, the limit will go higher, so that it could tear your fabric at a higher number like 1,000, but 100, we found that that is very suitable for for any type of mishap that you may have. So that's what the motor torque is for. I've saved the best update for last, at least that's what I think, because I think this is such an awesome feature. So what we have is a skew, and when we skew a design to a shape or an area, it skews to those 4 areas or the 4 corners. Or if we make a shape like this, which has 6 sides, or a shape like this that has 8 sides, but they're outside, those are called convex shapes, and it works great. If we do something like this with our skew, it just does something really ugly. So it doesn't work. But we now have a skew too, that when we want to use let's take a border, for example, and the border starts at 3 inches and it goes to 2.5, and it goes back up to 3, maybe to 2.5, and maybe it's not it's the piecer, or maybe things just kind of got stretched a little different. So that created a concave shape as it comes down and goes up. So that is what a concave shape is. The stars or the heart has that concave shape, but borders, and that's where it's so nice that if I have this irregular border, even if it had a flying geese triangle in it, I can work with that. So I want to show you how that works, because I am so excited about how this works. So let's move back to our machine, choose a design, and get it going. Now to work with our Skew 2 shape, let me go to that button right now, and you can see there, it's grayed out because I don't have a design here, but we have a Skew 1 and a Skew 2. Now let's go see how it really works. We'll go to our file, open up a design, and I'm going to go ahead and choose this very first one, the alternating loops, 1, and open it up. Now I want to create an area. So we're going to create an area that is a little inconsistent as a border. So 3 inches here, maybe 2, it kind of makes it a little wonky, we could call it. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my area. Go to my area here, and I'm going to press multi-point. And it's created my first point right there. I'm going to come down, multi-point again. Now, maybe my design is just a little wavy here, so I'm going to, we'll actually create that, and I'm going to refresh this so you can see. Let's take this design and drag it over here so we can make my screen bigger and refresh. Now you can see as I'm going, and gonna refresh that so you can see there's a little rise there. Go across again, we'll go up. Refresh that again so you can see. I'm gonna go straight up, and then maybe there's a dip here. It goes up there. Now you can see my regular skew wouldn't work with this, but I've created my area. Now I want to take my design and repeat it and skew it in. So I'm going to my repeat, going to just go ahead and add some repeats across, and you can kind of see as I add those across how many I'm going to need probably. I might add a few more because I'm actually going to shrink it down. Now I'm going to make it now I'm going to the skew align and using my Skew 2, and now it took that in there, and it didn't distort the design. It looks really good still, but it made it fit. And if I wanted to go back to my repeat and say, I might add some more in there, you can just keep adding those, and they just kind of move aside and let another one in, but they stretch to the borders, so they make that fit. So this has been really fun because I've gone through and taken some designs, a lot of the different designs actually, and to see how they work with this new skew. So let's go ahead and close this one. We don't want to save that. Let's bring in another design. So if we bring in the chest set, and as that chest set comes in, I'm going to go to my repeat and repeat that a couple of times, and then to my skew and skew that in there. So as I refresh that, you can see it shrinks them where it needs to shrink them and makes them bigger where it needs to make them bigger. So again, let's go back and close this one. And I'm going to open up the cement truck. And I want to add some of these little guys across here and go to skew and skew it in. Now, let's refresh that, and you can see it's making it work. But I'm actually going to go and recreate a new area. I've now created a different area. The top is pretty straight across the top, and then I've got some highs and lows, kind of like this little road going up and down. All right, so that kind of gave it away, because as I go to skew and I skew this, look how fun that looks. But I'm going to go to repeat, and I'm going to add more repeats across. You can see how this truck is just going up and down across there. So as you take some of the designs that are new to you or some of the older designs, and if you as you have areas in a border that have some ups and downs like this, or some triangles that you want to eliminate the quilting, you can use the Skew 2 and it works great. Now, the one thing I have found is some designs don't work so well. I've tried some of the different flowers and some different things, and that this is quite an exaggerated skew, but and it looks fun. It would be really fun on a little boy's quilt to do these these roads through the quilt. But some designs won't skew as pretty. But one of the things that I find as I do borders, and I find as I quilt for others, that the borders are not always 2 inches all the way across. It may be 2, you know, a 1/4 inch. And so as those discrepancies go across your quilt, this Skew 2 can fill that in and stretch it. You just have to create the area to make it work. So I hope you enjoy all the new features, and happy quilting!